Imagine this. You have to either fight a hungry lion or do a single math problem. Sounds crazy, right? But for the ancient Romans, that was actually a terrifying choice. We see Roman numerals everywhere today, but what most people don't know is that this system was hiding a massive, almost fatal flaw.
Picture an ancient Roman game show. The host says, okay, multiply these two massive numbers, CC31 and MDCCLI, or fight this wild lion. Honestly, most everyday people living back then would have probably taken their chances with the lion.
So, what made Roman math such an absolute nightmare? Why was doing simple everyday arithmetic literally considered torture? Well, to figure that out, we need to look at how they actually built this number system from the ground up.
Believe it or not, it wasn't meant to be complicated. The Romans were actually aiming for pure efficiency. They didn't have a zero, and they didn't use a 10-digit system like we do. Instead, they relied on something called landmark numbers.
Evolving from the Greeks way back in the 8th century BCE, the Romans just used specific letters for specific amounts. I for 1, V for 5, X for 10, all the way up to M for 1,000. There are no tricky place values to learn here, just these simple core landmarks.
To write a big number, you literally just stack the letters together. You want 2,367? You grab your thousands, then your hundreds, and so on. It turns into this huge string, MMCCLXV. It is actually super logical for just keeping track of amounts. But chopping 4 I's into stone was just way too much work. So they leveled up their efficiency. They realized if you put a smaller number right before a larger one, you could just subtract it. Instead of 4 strokes, the number 4 became IV, 1 less than 5. Boom. Massive game changer.
Okay, so it looks incredibly organized, right? A beautifully structured system for a beautifully structured empire. But here's the crazy plot twist. This brilliant system for writing numbers is an absolute nightmare when you actually try to do math with it.
With our numbers today, adding 232 and 413 takes maybe 2 seconds. You just line them up. But in Rome, try adding CCXXII and CCCCXIX in your head. You're just staring at this chaotic alphabet soup of C's, X's, and I's.
To add these up, you literally had to group the matching letters like a physical puzzle. You pile all your I's together, stack all your X's, gather your C's. Then you have to figure out that 5 C's magically turn into a D for 500. It is incredibly tedious just to do basic addition.
Which brings us right back to our big question. If simple addition required that much brain-breaking puzzle work, how on earth did they multiply or divide? Seriously, think about that poor guy trying to multiply those letters instead of fighting the lion.
Here is the mind-blowing truth. They didn't do it on paper. The arithmetic was so completely impossible for everyday business that the Romans had to invent a technological cheat code to bypass their own numbers.
Enter the abacus. Everyday people just didn't do complex math. Specially trained experts used the beads on an abacus to do the heavy lifting, skipping the Roman numerals entirely. They only wrote down the letters at the very end to record the final answer.
This whole crazy situation teaches us something absolutely fascinating about human history. We think of numbers as just math facts, but they aren't. Number systems are technologies, and just like smartphones, they evolve based on what people actually need. You can see this all over the world. Take the indigenous Gumugal people in the Pacific, who built a totally different counting sequence using words like Ukasar and Urpan to build their system. Every culture invents the exact mathematical tool they need for their specific world.
History shows us that one system always develops as an upgrade to the last one. When a technology stops working, like Roman numerals did when society suddenly needed faster multiplication, we eventually just outgrow it and invent a better one.
The Romans conquered the known world, but even they couldn't stop the evolution of numbers. Which leaves us with a wild question to think about. If the mighty Roman system was eventually replaced, what modern system are we using today that we're about to outgrow next? Let us know what you think and make sure to subscribe for more mind-blowing explainers.